Oh, welcome in. Happy Tuesday for the live chat. Things are out of whack. That's right. Let's just get this over with right now. The tournament starts on Wednesday. If you're a late night tinkerer, if you think you're going to just roll over Wednesday morning and see what's going on and all, no, it is too late. You got to get it all done now. Wednesday morning, this tournament starts, and it runs through Saturday. I've said that about 36 times this week. I am probably done saying it, though. We'll see. This time is yours. Questions, concerns, comments, get them in the chat right now. We are going to rock and roll as long as we possibly need. We usually start this show in a couple of ways. Number one, we look at the weather. Now, there is not a true wave this week because two courses are being used over the course of the first 2 days. So basically everybody's going out between, I think it's like 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. local time. So there's not like a morning wave and an afternoon wave. There is a North Course wave and a South Course wave, so to speak. The forecast in La Jolla looks very La Jolla-esque, right? Actually be a little bit chillier on Wednesday, 66 degrees. Then it's going to go up to 77 on Thursday before cooling off for the rest of the week. I do sound like I am a weatherman. The other thing to consider is the only time that I believe wind comes into play is Thursday afternoon. It's going to go from about 4 or 5 miles an hour up to 13 miles an hour. I don't really care what golf course they're playing. Both of these courses have similar exposure to the coastline. They're right on the same plot of land. Maybe I'm trying to think of holes on the North Course, like 16s. I think that's 16. They changed the routing one year and I haven't been able to catch up. 16, I believe, on the North Course, but then you've got like 4 on the South. But they both have similar numbers of holes that are exposed directly to the coastline. They're on the same plot of land. Maybe we're looking for the earlier tee times on Friday. Maybe that's how we play it for this week. It's not going to be a 20 mile an hour difference, but I do think it will be probably a club as of right now based on the forecast. Forecasting the one and done ownership. So this is Office Football Pool. They've been bought by Splash Sports. Talk about them in just a second. They allow you to see the site-wide picks, every entry that's been put into this point across all leagues. So this might be completely different than the league that you are in, but we have found that it gives a really, really, really good look at what people are going to do this week. And far and away, the most popular golfer is going to be Jason Day, 23%. Will Zalatoris is 12%, and nobody else is in double digits. Keegan Bradley's at 9%. Tony Finau and Ludwig Oberg are at 8.5%. Then you get Grazerman, Homa, Hideki, etc. I personally believe, and we can talk through this because a lot of this depends on your own situation, I'm running out Max Homa nearly across the board. I think it's obviously a great golf course for him. He's won here before. He's had a lot of success. He has been playing a lot better. He is, I think, just as likely, if not more likely, to win than Jason Day, for example, or Keegan Bradley, and he is going to come in at a fraction of the ownership. I also don't think I need to save him for anywhere. They're definitely not going to play at Riviera this year. So maybe you save him for wherever the Genesis is. It might be back at Torrey Pines. I believe it's going to be back at Torrey Pines, but we'll get the official word on that hopefully in the next day or two. And then where else are you going to save him? Quail Hollow is the PGA Championship. You're going to have every single player in the world there. I just think that this is probably a really good time to run out Max Homa, have a chance at 1 point, whatever it is, $6 million for the winner, but not take on a lot of risk at a major championship or anything like that. And a fraction, like I said, of using Jason. I like using Jason Day, but when Max Homa is like 1/5 the projected ownership, that stands out to me. If you want to get in a one and done, or another one and done, or if you want to support me, or if you want to just help out, the Splash Sports one and done, that is my league, starts next week at Pebble Beach. Okay. So this is it. We've got like 9 days to go, and it is fully guaranteed $500,000 no matter how many people get in. It is like a third full. I'm quite nervous about that. Maybe we screwed up and we should have started it at the Sony. I don't know. That wasn't my call, but maybe we'll know for next year. I would love to fill this thing and ask for $1 million next year. So fill it up. If it doesn't fill up, it's going to have a ton of overlay anyway. So it's going to be a huge value if you want to fire a bunch of entries in there. There's also this week's listener leagues, about 2/3 of the way full. And there also is a high roller one and done. All of that is linked in the description. Go and check it out. Okay. Let's get to a couple questions here. Then I'll circle back on some one and done stuff that I want to talk about. And I want to show you some examples for. Mr. Robbins, hello, says, hey, Rick, how's your level of confidence on Joe Highsmith? Still on board or waiting to see something? Good question. Still on board, but I'm hanging on by a thread. I'll show you my website here for basically everything else the rest of the way. This is rickrungood.com. It's my website. It's a giant golf data tool, database, models, et cetera, et cetera. So the run that he was on is clearly over, right? From the start of the fall portion to the RSM Classic. The concern was that he was not going to be able to continue his putting gains that he picked up in the fall after the break and into the new year. That, unfortunately, that nightmare scenario has come to fruition. He lost 5.5 strokes putting at the American Express. That is only in 2 measured rounds. He was 0 at the Sony Open, but he missed the cut. So that was only 2 measured rounds. So this is highly concerning. I think the one thing that gives me a little bit of optimism is that he's not hitting it well either, which I know that sounds like it should be another reason for pessimism, but I expect him to get back to his baseline. There's a very, very good ball striker, but I'm still with Joe, but boy, it is hanging by a thread right now. Alex Smalley is the question that we get next. He seems to have found something in his game lately. I would tend to agree. I believe what he's done is his last 2 are yes. So last 2 events, he has gained across the board. That means he's gained in all 4 strokes gained categories. I've talked about this a lot. That is, I guess I could zoom in. I usually zoom in farther. Sorry, guys. That is usually a very good predictive thing to see for like immediate success. And success means a lot. Like if he finished 11th again this week, I would say that was a successful week. But this is usually a very, very good sign. So I do like that from Alex Smalley. He's played this event 3 times, missed the cut, and 2 kind of just middling finishes. But yes, this is a very good sign for Alex Smalley. It's a good price. This is the time to probably try to take a pick. I think I prefer Gim, but is there any merit to considering Rose with his course history? Oh, interesting. So if it's just those 2, if it's Gim versus Rose, let's see. Gimmer has not been great. Putting here historically has been pretty good. I guess he's been on. Well, the fall kind of took a turn for the worse. Let's look at Rose real quick because he does have some of the best course history that you can get out here at Torrey Pines. He won this event. He's got a bunch of other really top end finishes, I believe. Let's see what it is here. Yeah, the win in 19, and then his last 3 years are 6th, 18th, 56th. Before the win, he had 2 straight top 8 finishes. I think the year that he missed the cut was the year that he started the year as number 1 in the world and then switched. No, I guess it had to be later than that. Or well, that wasn't 2020. That had to be like 20. Did he win in 19? I'm actually thinking that he started the year as the number 1 player in the world in 19. switched to his Hanma clubs, won at Torrey. Everybody freaked out, and then he just like did nothing the rest of the year. I'm pretty sure that is what happened. That would make more sense. Looking at his results coming in, I do have his TGL stuff in there. That's funny. Not. Oh boy. Neither of these guys have been all that good, have they? Slight nod to Rosie. A little bit of short game will go a long way. Speaking of TGL, one time says, "Are we putting the mortgage on Atlanta Drive tonight?" I don't know, man. Have we ever seen Patrick Cantlay with a shot clock situation? Justin Thomas, I think, will be great. Billy Horschel is either hit or miss in these types of situations. I think Fitzpatrick has probably spent a lot of time trying to figure out the simulator, which I think is going to be great. Cam Young kind of stinks, but in a simulator situation where he gets to drive it and he gets to putt it, I think that he is very valuable in this format. We're going to learn a lot about TGL tonight. You know, week one was week one, big time ratings. Week two, even bigger, Tiger Woods involved. These 6, what are they going to draw tonight? If they draw like 800,000 or 900,000, very, very good sign for TGL. If they draw like 500, tough. I do wonder what the floor is though, because it's on ESPN. There's got to be some level of floor built into this. You would think. Chris says, "Hey Rick, 0 through 10. What are you on Taylor Pendrith this week?" So Pendrith is probably going to play the bomb and gouge style of golf around here, which is not the end of the world. He finished 9th in 2024. He finished 16th in 2022. The play has been mid, as the kids say. The putter has cooled off a little bit. He did putt well at the Shriners, but hasn't started the year off right. Let's see what his putting numbers here are. Yeah, 7.5, which I think is pretty high. Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Rick. Who would you leave out of a lineup of Hall, Dietrich, Sappin, and Berger? Harry Hall withdrew from this event, so I would definitely leave him out. Hey, Rick, one and done between Willie Z, Hostler, and Homa. I feel like Willie Z is the play. Really? Well, let me go back here. So he's going to be the second highest owned golfer. I know it's early. I probably don't need to worry too much about that. I do like him at Torrey. And by the way, if you're on rickrungood.com and you want to see the US Open result as well, you can just do courses and it'll give you Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines and also the US Open at Torrey. So guys who played both of those, you can get there as well. I already said, like, I'm going to play Homa. Okay. I think Hostler's probably going a bit too deep. There's probably not a reason to play Bo Hostler this year. I'm waiting like one more week for Will Zalter. And also if Will is like legitimately back, you can play him at major championships. So I'm not in a rush to use Will right now when I am in a rush to use the Max Homa boy. I know your club head speed and distance and accuracy, but how do you feel about relying on putting when models show such volatility? Well, I think you can look at some putting stuff like putting on POA, I think is important, right? That's a very unique surface for this week. And it does give guys fits and it will make putting more difficult for a lot of these guys. So I don't mind if you wanted to run out, like look at it that way, guys who putt on POA and I'm okay with that. Also, I also like using short game. Scrambling. So scrambling would also encompass some putting, right? Are you able to get up and are you able to get down? So using things like scrambling, using things like putting on POA, that's probably the exposure that I'm getting to some of those putting metrics that you're talking about there, Mitchell. Justin says Alejandro Tosti did good here last year. How did he do? And is it repeatable? He finished T43 here last year, got off to a good start and then kind of faded. So I'm assuming that is what you're thinking of, Justin. He has not been good. He played well at Q School. He finished T4, but that's Q School. Played well at the Shriners, great, but everything else has been a miscut or a pretty bad finish. It is, I think he's probably one of the larger range of outcome golfers here. Top 10. I mean, he moves it, especially for a guy of his size, moves it. And then I think he could legitimately miss the cut. So I'm probably not going to have much exposure, if any, to Alejandro Tosti. Would be a very high risk, high reward situation. Hey, Rick, thanks for everything that you do. No worries, Kyle. Can you use your head-to-head matchup tool, but run it for 3 golfers? Yeah, I can actually. So let's go to the head-to-head matchup tool. We'll go over to the 3-ball section. We will look at the last 24 rounds. So we'll do 24, 24, 24. His golfers are Zalatoris, Pendrith, and Rye. Zalatoris, Pendrith, and Aaron Rye should be at the top of the list because his. Oh, you can definitely do it for 3 Armina. Yes, yes. You can also put it into dark mode if you'd like. Very close here. The model has Zalatoris winning this 30.4% of the time. Pendrith winning at 29.7, so very, very close. Aaron Rye winning at 15.8, and then a tie about 24% of the time between any two of those golfers. So it does give you the projected money lines, or like the true money lines. You're probably not going to get these, right? Like this would imply Will Zalatoris should be plus 229. You are not going to get that. There is obviously going to be juice involved, but you have to decide for yourself whether if you can get him at, I don't know what he is, plus 180, whatever number you have to see if that's worth it for you. But I have him as a tiny, tiny favorite over Pendrith there. Can you deep dive on Gary Woodland? I can. I think I did this last week, and I remember not being super excited about it. Definitely long. He still leads the PGA Tour in club head speed, which is incredible. Okay, he played well at Sony with a very good stat profile. He gained a ton of strokes from tee to green and gained every single day. That was his first and only start in the new year. So I think I like that, right? There's always a weird situation when guys are coming back from breaks. Are they going to be able to continue the play that they had? Are they going to start slow and have to knock the rust off? This is about as good as you're going to get. One start in 2025, a good finish with good metrics, on a good course fit for him. He's played here a ton. Oh my God. He's played here a ton. Missed the cut last. I mean, it's a lot of good finishes. Okay. Yeah. Brady, I think I've been talked into Gary Woodland here in the moment. That's pretty good. Hey, Rick, thanks for all the info. Maverick, Zalatoris, or Day and one and done. So, Day or Maverick, I think is a toss up. And I think that you should play either one of them before you play Zalatoris again. I'm holding Zalatoris for a couple of reasons. I want to wait and see. And I'll also, if he is to the point of winning this golf tournament, he's going to be very valuable at major championships and in the future. So even if we miss out on 1.8 million this week, there's a chance he earns more later in a single event. So I'm holding there. Maverick or Day, I guess just based on the ownership, it's Maverick, but I like both of those guys quite a bit. Looking at young guns without course history, thoughts on fit for Sapp, Clanton, Thor, and McCarty. Probably not a great spot for McCarty unless he can hit every single fairway. That's kind of the way that he's going to have to play it. He's different than a lot of the really young up-and-coming stars. Clanton's game is probably not good enough around the green for me to be super excited. Now, if he just hits every green, great. But there are some spots out here that are going to be a touch trickier. And also, if you are missing a lot of greens, you see guys have to get up and down for par a lot. I worry that Clanton's short game is not good enough here. I think Frankie Sappin plays out everywhere well. Okay, so that is just until future notice, it's the Sappin show. Kurt Kitayama is up next from Dylan. It says, how do you feel about Kurt Kitayama despite his poor course history here? I feel sneaky good about it. He's quite long off the tee, quite powerful. He has the upside of a legitimate 10 stroke on approach week. And he had this stretch here where it was like +6, +7, +10, +6 in 4 out of his 5. That's a really good skill set to have. The problem is going to be the putter on these Poana surfaces. He's putted better lately, but this is kind of a different beast and he's struggled here. So 6 out of 10, call something like that. Joe says, plot twist. What is the producer's top fade of the week? So that would be my wife, Armina. She usually gives a pick. I asked her this and she said something like, oh, I'm not getting into that. I'm not a professional. I don't want to get into that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do you have a pick to win? Patrick Rogers. Oh boy. Thanks for all that you do. Please pick your preference, McNeely, Pendrith, or Homa. It would be Homa, McNeely, Pendrith. Can you run a side-by-side comparing Grazerman, Ludwig? I feel like Ludwig would be a heavy favorite. No. Well, it depends on what you do here. So if you go probably Uh, let's actually, and we'll use the dark mode this time. Oh, of course, probably my screen recorder. Grazerman versus Ludwig. I bet you Grazerman's pretty high here because his strokes gain numbers lately have been nuts. Come on. There we go. Come on. Okay. So here's Grazerman versus Ludwig. I've got, oh, you know what I did here? Oh, hold on a second. You guys are getting a sneak peek. I think I had this hyperlinked wrong. And when I clicked that button, it took me to an old version. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to have to fix that. Wow. Why didn't anybody tell me? Maybe you like the old version. Okay, so let me try this again. Grazerman. It was that button that I was trying to click back on. So Grazerman versus Ludi. There we go. This looks more like it. So the thing is, Grazerman has much better strokes gain numbers because of the competition that he's been playing against. So his success has really come from the US Open until now. And a lot of the fall events, he was smoking guys. So he actually does have a favorable rating against Ludwig here. I would be cautious about that. I love Max Grazerman, but in no scenario should he be minus 180 versus Ludwig. But you're right. Very, very high. I love your content. On my best one and done team, I've used Hideki and JT, looking for your opinion on a name to use this week that I won't need for a bigger purse. His name is Max Homa. I want to point something out, Jason. So we are already at the point where, we're 2 events in. I've got some lineups that have $1.2 million. I've got some lineups that have $39,000. And what I like about keeping everything in Pool Genius, and I'm already starting to see how it is starting to give me different recommendations because of my position. So if you see my pick grade, so this is the one that I'm really good in. Like Zalatoris is a 94, Homa is an 89. In this one, Zalatoris is a 92, Homa is an 88. And this is the one that I'm really struggling in. It likes Keegan Bradley for me. So already 2 starts in, you can see the tool starting to know the position, understand risk and reward, start to grade golfers differently because of that. So that's what I love. And we're only 2 tournaments in. It only gets more valuable as you go. So like you can see, I've got all my leagues in here, 107,000 because I went with Harry Hall and Maverick McNeely. This is my best one, Keegan Bradley and Justin Thomas, because I went with those guys, 1.2 million. So it is already starting to learn and get smarter. So I love that. That's why this is really valuable. And hat tip to the guys, we worked on this together. Love the Pool Genius guys. So links in the description. We have the best discount you can get. Whatever the best one they offer is, that's the one that we get on this tool. And March Madness is coming up, so I know they're going to crush that as well. I'll be using their stuff for March Madness. Where was I here? Can you do a deep dive on Aldrich Potgieter, I believe is how he pronounces it. I don't know if we have a ton of information, but he is a massive dude who moves the ball, which is really good, right? Throw him into like long drivers with a decent short game. Still trying to find where that fits in on the PGA Tour. Missed the cut at the Sony, missed the cut at the American Express. He was a very volatile Korn Ferry Tour player. You can see a lot of missed cuts there. So gonna need to see more. Very, very young. He's 20 years old. He has a lot to figure out. He's going to figure it out quickly, but I don't know if it's going to come at this place. Can you run a custom model using correlated stats on your course preview video to create a percentage and any secondary stats using those category ranks broken down into percentages? Boy, okay. So let's do this then. Let's do 100 rounds. Let's do, oh boy. All right. Well, let's start. I want to work our way backwards here. Let's do putting on POA for 10, putts inside 10 feet for 10. That's different. Then I'm also going to do, I know that driving distance, I believe was a pretty big one. We'll put 15 there. I'm also going to put strokes gained off the tee for 15. I'm going to do scrambling for 10, course history for 10. If I can find it, there we go. When I'm so zoomed in, I have to scroll so much. Course types, we're going to do long and hard. And then we've got 10 left. I will do implied win percentage. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Number 1 golfer, Ludwig. 2, Sahith. 3, Sungjae. Look at that. 4 is Maverick McNeely, $8,900. Max Grazerman, Sam Stevens, Hideki Pendrith, Jason Day. And then, oh my God, Armina, Patrick Rogers. She must have ran this model earlier because he is 10th at $7,500. Hi, Rick. In PGA Fantasy, does it make sense to use your bench when they are okay? This is a great question, and I will not lie. I did not think of this. Does it make sense to use your bench when they are playing the easier North course? So the scoring for PGA Fantasy is similar to DraftKings. It's birdies. It's better. So you would then lock in, for example. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be pretty smart because the only thing I was going to say is you'd lose the FedEx Cup point bonus, but that's only if you don't have them in there before the start of the 4th round, and everybody goes back to the South course on Friday anyway. So yeah, I think what you're saying is make sure that you have 2 guys on your bench. Well, I guess everybody's going to play the North course. You're just swapping them out on the days that they're on the North course. Yeah, I think I like that a lot. I think that makes a lot of sense. And now I got to go do that and make sure that I have everybody in order. Can you do a deep dive on what happened with Taylor Montgomery? I don't really need to. He just cannot hit a full shot. Just unbelievably bad off the tee, unbelievably bad on approach. Still a very good putter, but he cannot outputt the rest of his clubs. You can't like he's losing 9, 8, 6 strokes off the tee. I'd have to look that. I don't know if I hope that's a bunch of penalty balls, or otherwise it is even worse than I thought. But yes, it's horrible. What's the temp on Berger this week? 7. I'm buying Berger in 2025. We've seen a decent bit of good play. I'll pull up his profile here so that we can look at this together. But the good news is I like what he did at the Stadium course last week, even though Sunday wasn't great, was still a positive tee to green player. Round 2, he was awesome there. He gained it at both La Quinta and the Nicklaus Tournament course. When Berger is good, he should be fine at hard golf courses. I know he hasn't had a lot of success here, but that dates back, 2015. He didn't play here for a pretty big chunk of that time. So what did I say again? So medium well? Well, let's call it medium. Would medium well be higher or yeah. but like I like it but I like it medium rare.
No, but it's not about how you like your burger. It's about what your temp is on burger.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Hey, Rick, thanks for time on a busy, short week. In PGA Fantasy, the difficulty between the goal. Okay, yeah. So you guys have thought about this more than I have. Yes, I'm gonna have to go do that after this. One and done. Good week to use Ludwig. I don't think so. Hideki. You could use Finau. I don't think you need to use Hideki. You could use it. I would not. I would definitely save Ludwig. You could use Hideki. Finau, you'd have to be pretty risky to take that on. I'm going Homa everywhere. Pick one in DFS, Hodges, you, or Taylor Moore. For me, that's probably Taylor Moore. Really, really like his game. Had a lost year last year and is looking like he's getting back into form here, which is good. Gained across the board at the American Express. It's only 2 measured rounds, but one of them he picked up 5 strokes from tee to green at the Stadium course. We saw him play a lot better at the Zozo. Just he's back from the doldrums. You can see here, look at his last 100 rounds. Look how low he was in this valley. We're getting it back. So I think it's more out of those. Justin Lauer has been playing well, not a great driver. Can he compete this week? The only way that Lauer is going to be able to compete this week is if he hits a ton of fairways. Kind of similar to what Matthew Pavone won this golf tournament. He was not a long hitter, right? He was just a reliable, put it out in the middle of the fairway with my fade and take my chances from there. I don't think he hits enough fairways. He is actually better. Like when he does miss fairways, he misses them by a small margin, but this is not a golf course where that really matters. If you're 1 yard off the fairway, you are going to have a just as bad of a lie as if you are 15 yards off the fairway. So there might be some courses coming up later that might have kind of graduated rough or might have rough and then rock or desert or something like that, where that stat profile would look a lot better. It does not really look good for this place. Disclaimer, completely hypothetical. I was in Vegas a few weeks back and I thought I'm so close to Rick. Oh boy. Sparked a family debate of what emotions you would have if I were to show up. Where? Like at my house? Or like you just saw me in a casino? If you saw me in a casino, that'd be cool. That'd be fine. I've been approached in public before, a lot of times in Vegas. Like it's okay. That would be cool. That would be fun. We would probably play video poker and like it'd be all good. If you tracked me down at my house, probably a different story. But otherwise that's that. Oh, did you wait? Tyler, did you DM me on Instagram? Somebody DM'd me on Instagram and I didn't see it until like yesterday or 3 days ago. So it's not a reliable way to get a hold of me. But yeah, that would have been fine. Decky and Manacero or Willie Z and Hostler? Willie Z and Hostler for me. Any chalk that you're really not comfortable with in the 8 and 9K range? Let's look. So I'm going to go 8 and 9K range, and then I'm going to sort it by ownership. My thing is really laggy with my screen. I can hear my computer humming like crazy. Okay. I'm probably not comfortable with Pendrith at 21%. I like Pendrith. That seems like a lot, but McNeely's there at 5% less. I would prefer Lowry, who's been a lot better. Ben Griffin has been great. Pendrith is the one that I would be most worried about. Ben Griffin, Jason Day, Harris Ingles, JJ Spawn, pick 2. Day and Griffin. Thoughts on Pavone at 7,200? I was hoping by this point he was going to be playing well again. I don't think we are quite there. Coming back as the defending champion is always a bit weird. Oh, where is he? Matthew. There he is. Pavone. I'll double check this, but I do not think I'm happy about it. Yeah, I'm not. Just, it looks like it is getting a little bit better. Remember, he changed swing coaches this offseason. Not a magic fix, apparently, but I'm a little bit worried about that. Deep dive on Kevin Tway. Wow, we are in it. Played on the Corn Ferry 2 events ago, finished 53rd. I'm not interested in that. I'm skipping the guys that we have already talked about, which is nice. Any players shock you with how much distance they get with their size? Toasty being 5'6" blew my mind. Yeah, I mean, Minwoo Lee weighs like 140 pounds. Justin Thomas, same thing. Rory McIlroy is not very big. So that surprises me. And then like guys like Sepp Straka and Taylor Montgomery who don't hit it far at all. I'm like, what are you doing with that body? But yes, it's efficiencies, baby. It's torque. Appreciate everything you do. Could you do a deep dive on Shane Lowry? Yeah, I kind of alluded to this. A lot better than I would have expected. And he's coming in at a very low ownership. What he did recently has all been on the DP World Tour, but it's been splendid. Look at these results. I mean, nothing outside the top 13 since the BMW Championship. I realize some of those are small fields. Some of them are most of them are DP World Tour events. Tee to green numbers are bonkers. He's always been a very good putter. His history here could be better, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It does go back to 2015. He only has 5 starts in the last 10 years, which is nuts. So it's not like he plays it every year. Played here last year, finished 25th, but then missed the cut in 2018 in his most recent start prior to that. I'm growing on Shane Lowry. If this was a normal Thursday start, I'd be at full Shane Lowry by Wednesday night. I don't have that much time to stew on him right now, but I think he's in a pretty darn good position. Panic meter on Xander. So what was it? Soft tissue rib injury that keeps him out of both the American Express and Farmers. I guess I'm actually not panicking at all because now it seems like he's going to get healthy before coming back. I guess he played through it a little bit at the Century. Maybe that explains why the results weren't particularly great. So I'm hoping that he just takes the time to get healthy. So I'm not ready to panic. Yeah. If he says, yeah, I'm 100%, and then he comes back and he stinks, that's going to be a problem. Is the North or South easier? The North is easier, historically about 2.5 shots under par. The South course plays a touch over par. Talked about that. Talked about Gary Woodland, believe it or not. Betting card for this week. Do not bet what I bet. You don't have to. Go do something better with your life. I have only bet 2 golfers this week. Ludwig at 11-1. Max Homa at 30-1. That's where I'm at. Again, my 2025 resolution is I'm just doing a lot more matchups and sprinkling in some outrights, but that is the card that I'm rolling with for this week. Mateo Manacero is up next from Swave. Look at that headshot. Oh, he looks good. Looks young. Oh, he's only 31. He's been around forever. I guess it's because he's Italian and is, just very healthy. Oh boy. Dude's going to get smoked off the tee, right? I mean, this is just not a place for a guy who can't drive it. That is not going to end well for him, is it? Yeah, I do not like this at all. Let's get this money, Rob. What golfers played in Dubai last week? Well, there's a lot of different ways to look this up. You could go to the Holy Grail. You could see golfers in this field and then sort by 2025 and tournament. That tournament was called the, oh my God, Dubai Desert Classic. Armina tells me, thank you very much. Come on. Oh, you know what? I still have Bentgrass or Poana plugged in. I was wondering why that wasn't showing up. I should have refreshed this. Dubai. The golfers who played last week in Dubai were Nicholas Norgard, my love, my heart, Matt Wallace, and Tristan Lawrence. What are your thoughts on a good first round leader bet on Ludwig or Keegan? Well, firstly, we've got to see where they are starting at, right? So Ludwig starting on the North Course, good sign. Keegan starting on the North Course, good sign. All right, Douglas, we're off to a good start. Ludwig, to me, and I'll double check this, but it feels like he is a 3.5 strokes gain per round guy, as opposed to someone who's going to gain 5 or 6. Let's find out, though. Let's find out. I don't want to just lie to you. Let's do the last 100 rounds. Yeah, I'm kind of right about that, or at least I was for those 36. Okay, so yeah, Ludwig is like one of the best at gaining 3 strokes or more. He gains 5 or more 8% of the time. Grazerman's better than that. Shane Lowry's better than that. Luke Clanton is better than that in his small sample. Guys that are from the DP World Tour, so different competition, but Nicholas Norgard, Matt Wallace are better than that. So I think I'd probably prefer. Keegan has a weird knack of being the first round leader. I'd prefer Grazerman in this spot. Is Grazerman playing the North Course? He is. Let's ride. Any word on Colin? None word on Colin. Thoughts on Lee Hodges? Played well last week, right? Or at least sniffed my television for a second. Should be weird if he actually sniffed it, right? 34th, Saturday he lost strokes to the field. Yeah, he did get off to a good start. Over the first 2 rounds. Yeah, he's been a lot better. Look at this run from basically the Black Desert, almost all top 20 finishes, couple of even, much better than that. The approach plays coming back, the putter's coming back a little bit. What's his history around this place? Oof. just smacks you right in the face when you see that, right? 3 straight missed cuts. That hurts. Let's call it a 4 out of 5. He was like a 6 out of, or 4 out of 10. Wow. 4 out of 5 would be great. I do not want that. 4 out of 10. He was a 6 out of 10 until I clicked his course history. No real preferred routing. Are you reviving your free one and done league? Gavin, I am not. Because one, it wasn't free, which is kind of what the issue was. So we were running there was a buy-in and I was giving prizes. It was like $39 and I was giving prizes. There were like 12 different countries represented, every single state. The legalities of that became and like thousands of people. And the legalities of that became too hairy for me to sleep at night. So I said, I can't expose myself to this. I only expose myself to certain things. I am going to have to discontinue this. So I sent out an email a couple months ago. If you want me to forward it to you, just email me again. Everything is on Splash now. They can handle all the risk. They can take on the financial risk of the 500K guarantee. They're legally up and running in like 40 plus states and all of Canada except for Quebec. So all of that's on them now. And I know that boxes out some people. Stinks. Boxes out my friends in Pennsylvania for now. I get that. That stinks, but that's kind of where we had to go. So I think for the foreseeable future, everything from me will be on Splash. They've done a very good job over the last couple of years across the board. Really like the way they're growing. So yes, I'm there. Talks about McCarthy, right? You're not talking about McCarty, right? We're talking about Denny being 6,900. No, Denny's not in this field. So I think we're talking, I think that's McCarty who is here. He's 6,900. Yeah. I don't love this. I don't think this is a good golf course for him. And since the win, he's been kind of stinky. So we are going to wait and see on him. Why is Oberg not available for Showdown on DraftKings? I do not know. You are going to have to reach out to them. I do not control DraftKings. Do you feel that Sappin is accurate enough to do well here? Sappin will do whatever the hell he wants, and he will do it with authority. Can we take a look at the PGA trends? Sure. So this tool is really interesting. What it allows you to do is it sets every golfer's baseline, right? I call it 100 rounds. Then you pick whatever number of rounds you want to look at compared to that. So if we look at the last 24 rounds, someone like Shane Lowry is playing 1.1 strokes gained over his 100 round baseline. So he's beating himself by more than a stroke per round. That's crazy. So then when you take what he's doing and his baseline, you add them together, he's basically a 2-stroke per round golfer in this current trend. That's the best in the field. Grazerman is up there. Bo Hostler is up there. Maverick McNeely is up there. Mark Hubbard is up there. Ben freaking Griffin is up there. And then you can kind of look at how they're doing it. So you don't love it when a golfer is only putting. Like, for example, let me find a better example because I don't have a ton of rounds on Ben Campbell yet. I don't want to throw him under the bus here. Who's a realistic one? Okay. Steven Yeager. So Steven Yeager is 0.6 strokes better than himself in the last 24 rounds. But all of that and then some is a hot putter. He is actually losing to himself in tee to green, off the tee, around the green, right? So that is very concerning when you see something like that, because you would expect the putter to cool off a little bit and the tee to green play is not there. He's actually not playing as well as he normally would. So then the way to visualize all of that is here via the breakout candidates section. And it shows you all of this, right? So you want to be in that upper left-hand quadrant where Joseph Bramlett and Norman Jong and Max Homa and Ben Griffin and Andrew Putnam and Garrick Higo, who got into this field late, but that might be a little bit too risky for me. Sam Stevens, that's where all those guys are. The guys that are concerns are the Justin Lowers, the Brant Snedekers, Emiliano Grillos, Adam Schenk, Alonso Griffin, et cetera, because they are in that bottom right-hand quadrant. So that's how you read that. It is very fun, very interesting, very demure. Good day, Rick. Good day. A few names modeling well, not addressed extensively yesterday. Lowry, Mav, Pendrith. Okay, so we've addressed most of these guys today, which is good. But let me address Phillips, Roy, and Bridgerman, because those are the three that we haven't gotten to, if I'm remembering correctly. Chandler Phillips is number one. Wait till you see this mustache. Boom. The best on tour, best pro shops, perfect sponsorship. So 2 missed cuts in a row to start off his 2025, and they have been very bad. He got crushed at Waialae, which is a very difficult thing to say. Then he got crushed in one of the easy courses and the stadium course. He played better in round 3, too little, too late. That is a bit concerning for me. Again, he's only got those rounds. He's got 5 rounds in the new year, and all of them are bad. So that's a tough scene. Kevin Roy up next. ReliaQuest. How much do you think ReliaQuest pays for Kevin Roy? Like, we could the Rick Run Good community sponsor someone? Can't be that much. 10 grand for Kevin Roy for the year? He's got to wear Rick Run Good across his hat. ReliaQuest. And he would have to do like an outing for us. He'd have to we would get everybody together somewhere in Vegas, and he'd have to do an outing for us at TPC Summerlin. Could we get that for 10 grand? T40. Now see, this is a lot better. T45 at the Sony Open with strong tee to green numbers. American Express, pretty darn good there. Played the stadium course well enough and finished T18. His results at the Korn Ferry Tour are a lot better than most guys. This is pretty good. Has he ever played this event? I'm going to say, wow, he did. 2023, so 2 years ago, he missed the cut. That is much better than the original one that we saw. Let's try Bridgerman. I got thrown off. He called him Bridgerman. I thought it was Bridgerton. Oh, we got to get it. We got to get him a new hat. I do not like the shape of that hat. Okay. Well, he might be a little more expensive. He's a TaylorMade guy. I think we can outbid ReliaQuest. I don't think we can outbid TaylorMade. Bridgerman always shows up. His name's Bridgman. Bridgman always shows up on fantasy point calculation projections for me. So he must make a lot of birdies and a lot of bogeys. Pretty reliant on his putter at the American Express. Missed the cut at the Sony. Has cooled off a little bit. Medium. I ranked them. Roy, who's going to be the new Rick Run Good ambassador, Bridgman, and then Phillips. We did those. Harris English usually is better on difficult golf courses. So let's figure out what old Harris. Oh, I typed in Harry. Of course I did. Harris English is doing. You guys have my brain warped. He's been bad here the last 5 years. Good before that, bad the last 5 years. God, he played so well at the stadium course as well. Didn't play well at the Sony. I don't think I have much of an opinion here. Maybe 5 out of 10. I like some of the stuff that he's shown gaining across the board at the American Express, especially the way he played at the stadium course. I don't like the miscut. I don't like 5 trips in a row here that weren't good. Put me down for a no opinion on Harris English. Can we look at course horses? Oh, Evan. Sure. So we're going to do, how far back do you want to go? This tournament's been around for a long time. 2017, 30 rounds. Tony Finau, 2.37. Justin Rose, 26 rounds, 2.17. Max Homa, 20 rounds, 2.02. Ryan Palmer, 1.98. Sam Ryder's down all the way down here. Armina ruined that guy's career when she wouldn't let him use a piece of workout equipment at this event a couple of years ago as he was leading the tournament on Saturday.
I didn't know him.
It doesn't matter. So Finau, Rose, Homa, Palmer, Zalatoris, Jason Day. I did have a 8-round minimum in there. I do like Aaron. There was like three straight Aaron Rye questions. Aaron Rye was in the mix here 2 years ago. I think he was in the final group, or at least the final two groups. I remember walking out there with them. He had the most quiet win at the Wyndham Championship because Max Grazerman fell apart and Matt Kuchar ruined everybody's life by making them come back on Monday. Everyone forgot that Aaron Rye won that golf tournament. And then since then has just played solid Aaron Rye golf. Popped up again, T4 at the BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth. That's very good. T15 at the Century. Like, ball striking. I love this guy. I think he's going to have a good week. I think we answered this. A lot of Gary Woodland questions. We did talk about Gary Woodland. Antoine Rosner, Oracle. I was looking up his profile. I think it was last week that I was looking up his profile. Let's see what we got here on the Roz. Missed the... Oh, that's very bad. Very, very bad. Oh, what did he do? He lost 7.2 at the Stadium course, and he lost at least a stroke and a half in every category. Big wolf. Missed the cut in the DP World Tour event here. Oh boy. Show me no history. We're gonna have to hold off on this. When someone puts together a stat profile like that, he might be lost. We'll see. I don't know that. We'll see. But that is terrifying. Do we have good feelings about Jaeger bombs? No. So that was, remember I showed the trends tool. It's a pretty darn concerning stat profile. We did do Manacero. We did do Doug Gim. We did do Shane Lowry. Norman Zhang. My bud. My best friend, Norman Zhang. Has he played here before? Probably, right? 2018 missed the cut last year, missed the cut. I think he's going to play out of the rough constantly, and that's not going to be good. So unfortunately, I do not think so. Any reason why you're prioritizing around the green? So for absolutely that, Matt. So he says no tight lies around the green, just rough. Completely agree. Here's why I'm prioritizing a little bit around the green. So you've got very narrow fairways, 25 yards wide. There's going to be a lot of guys that miss these fairways. And even if they do miss them, it's less likely they hit the green. Even if they do hit the fairway, they might not hit the green. We've seen a lot of guys. We've seen par be good score a lot because guys are going to miss these greens. So you have to be able to get up and down for par. I agree they're not overly difficult spots around the greens, but you might get more of those opportunities this week. Remember, around the green, it's kind of a weird one because it is a counting stat. It's a sum, but at the same time, not everyone is hitting the same number of shots. So, if someone gains 4 strokes around the green, it might be because they had 15 opportunities around the green, as opposed to someone who gains 2 strokes around the green who had 2 chances. So what I think is going to happen is you're going to have a lot more around the green opportunities. And then when you throw in the POA putting surfaces, the make rates of 4, 5, 6, 7 footers decreases on this golf course a lot. So I actually kind of like scrambling, because scrambling would take into account both of those items, getting it up and then getting it down. And then also I like bogey avoidance for the same reason. A lot of bogeys get avoided via ups and downs. So that's kind of the idea. I agree with you. Just in a vacuum, they're not overly difficult around the green spots, but the combination of all those things I think is interesting. Thoughts on Ryan Palmer this week? No thoughts. I don't think you need to play him. Yeah, we did do a deep dive on Kevin Roy. We're going to sponsor him soon. What else we got here? Anything interesting? Feels like a really bad Wesley Bryan spot. What's the Splash Sports referral code? So 2 things. The link alone in the description should work. However, I haven't really announced this yet, but I do actually have a code. Stand by. So what is actually happening? So I'm going to give you guys a look behind the curtain here. So the code, if you need a code, the code that you want is Rick RG, RICK RG. So I'll just openly transparent here. My deal with Underdog is over. I like the Underdog product. I think that what they have done is really, really strong. I will continue to play on Underdog. I do not like that they have done so many adjustments of the odds and of the multipliers that they have really squeezed almost any value out of that product. It is still very fun. It is still a ton of interesting things. They're still all really good guys. They are a business to run. I get it. But now how sharp the computers are and how fast they're updating the lines is very difficult. And it kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it. So I obviously have a great relationship with Splash. It's where I run all the one and dones and all that stuff. They have quick picks now. Okay. So they have that similar style. So they've got right now NFL, NBA, NCAA, NHL, college football. I guess college football is over, but they have these picks now, and they are, listen, everybody's still making money on the quick picks, but these are not being as automatedly adjusted, squeezing against you, at least from what I can tell as of yet. I think there are still a lot of really good options here. They are going to have golf pick them out like any minute. I say that like probably any week. So I've been going back and forth with them about that. So the code is RickRG. There might be a little bit of a bonus, but you still might get that through my link right now anyway. But that's kind of what's going on here. The guys at Underdog are awesome. I'm not getting like paid anything to talk about quick picks for Splash. I would get paid if you use my code, but that's really no different than anything else. Or the link would work too. So I just like Splash. I like the guys, and to have it all in one spot makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yes. Oh, of course. Oh, I've got grays in there. Yeah. Right here. Yeah. There's like 5 or 6 in the front. On the side, it's coming in. Yeah. I've got grays. Armina says she likes them. In my one and done, we have a last man standing in made cuts, which pays double the buy-in. And then it says, do you like this? And would you let it alter your picks? Does Pool Genius have this format, or did I invent it? I don't think you've invented it, because I've heard of, I haven't heard it called last man standing, but like a cut survivor, basically. So hold on. Am I understanding this right? That if you're the last person left who has not missed a cut, you get double your buy-in. So you get 50 to 100 or something like that. That is not enough for me to alter my picks. Now, if it was last man standing and you got like 2x everybody's buy-in, right? So like say there was 10 people and it's a $50 buy-in. So you got $1,000. Although I guess where would the money be for the payouts? I guess that wouldn't really work. That is, to me, that is not enough to make any adjustments. I don't think I've talked about him yet. Well, on this show, but like, I'm like, listen, I'm worried about Nicholas Norgard this week. He's got to come over from Dubai. He's got to go to a course on a short week that he's never seen before. It's tough, but the dude is so long, so good on the greens, has contended and or won big time events. I'm ready. I think he's staying over here now. So I'm ready for that. So yeah, I'm excited. Where's Norgard in the fantasy pool? Nicholas Norgard, he might be in there as Moller, Moller. He's $7,600. Just joined the team today, Rick. Brandon. Yeah, listen, go join rickrungood.com. It's great. I love it. You'll love it too. I'm always making good updates. Can we talk about EVR? It keeps popping up in my models. Eric Van Rooyen, if you want to pronounce it correctly. It's more of a fun than a van. South African. Wolf. Missed the cut at the American Express. I guess it's not that bad. He played the stadium course on Thursday. Was great from, I mean, how do you lose 3.3 and a stroke at the two easy golf courses? That's a little bit worrisome. He did play a lot in the fall, both the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour. The results are kind of iffy. Has missed the cut here. I'm not that excited, quite frankly, at all. Not yet, Justin says, is Berger almost back to himself from 3 years ago? No, but we are on the path. I talked about a lot of these guys already. Can't wait for Splash quick picks for PGA. We go where you go, Rick. Thank you. Yeah, listen, I just think it's going to be fun. And I think it's going to be good. You know, we've done a lot of great, those guys, the Splash guys get it. Not that the underdog guys don't, obviously, but I do like the Splash stuff. How did Mina's golf round go last week?
Tell them about my drive on that par 3 and what happened.
So first off, she said, tell them about my drive on that par 3, which is true. She used driver on a par 3.
I always use driver.
She hit it. She smoked it. She carried it about 140 yards. She was on the back edge of the green. And then I posted on Twitter, she had 2 putts for par. It was her first par ever. So she's very good. We only ended up playing 5 holes. She is hitting a lot better drives, a lot farther. She's got the bug. She, all that stuff. She's doing a lot better, but we are now, I think, like 13 holes into her golfing experience. I think we played 8 and I think we played 5, and she's a very good putter, and she's now making me tell you all of that stuff. Okay. I think we're going to put a pin in it there. Tyler, if you're going to be in Vegas this weekend, come find me. We'll play some video poker together, but I think we're going to put a pin in it for now. Go and sign up for rickrungood.com, the one and done on Splash. Everything you need is in the description. It's all good stuff. It's stuff I talk about all the time. I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe in it. Otherwise, Armina is ready to shut the show down, and that is exactly what we are going to do right now.